Nice. Clippy. Might have went a little past it.
Oh, it's in the hole.
No, I did not.
Yeah, it just rolled back in.
Did it really?
Yeah.
See, that's how you're meant to play it. Just like that. Wow. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about one of my, if not my biggest pet peeve in golf, which is the lack of consistency in picking a golf ball for each golfer to play. I would ask people in the fitting bay all the time, what golf ball do you play? And they'd say, whatever I have in my bag. That could be a gift from a relative. It could be something you won at a local competition. It might be something that you happen to pick up on a deal, on a sale price. But there's no real thought given to the number one sort of ever-present part of our game of golf, which is the golf ball. We hit driver, we hit mini driver, irons, wedges. All of that fluctuates and changes from round to round. The one constant in all of our game is the golf ball. And today we're going to look at the performance from what I use, which is Pro V1, versus a random bag of golf balls that I brought out today that will offer up a random set of parameters in terms of launch, spin and speed. All right, fun to do a little test like this outdoors. Never done a golf ball test outdoors, Cody. Always talked about it, always wanted to. And this is us trying to simulate as much as the real life kind of scenario that our viewers or subscribers, if you're not a subscriber, make sure you subscribe. Yeah, as much as people will face on the golf course. We want to try to deliver facts, not just opinions. Sometimes these things can be subject, when they're in the simulator, I still love doing that testing, but it can sometimes be a little bit hypothetical and things like that, whereas we're out here testing it, you know, for sort of real life. We're going to look at the random golf balls first, probably expecting to see the biggest variable being speed off the fairway, off the driver or mini driver here. So let's see what we get with this one. Yeah, pretty much ideal. What do you see there, Case?
That's 254 carry, 2900 backspin, 150 ball speed.
Okay, pretty good.
Another one pretty similar.
Okay.
255 carry, 150 ball speed, 3000 backspin. .248 carry, 3500 backspin, 150 ball speed.
Okay, pretty consistent. Pretty consistent, especially speed off the mini there. A little bit of a fluctuation in spin, was there, Case?
Yeah, the spin was 2900.
Not bad.
3050 and then 3557.
Okay, not bad. All right, let's go into the Pro V1.
.267 carry.
Yeah, that one was kind of a little more off the top of the club. Kind of got the launch up and the spin down.
Yeah, 2200 backspin.
Yeah. Try to tee this up, obviously downwind a little bit, so let's tee it up just a shade.
2640 backspin, 151.5 ball speed.
Nice spin window there, 27. That was kind of what we were looking for. I like that. I mean, I like, to me, I call this my 250 carry club. If I'm carrying it more than that, I've mishit it probably slightly. High in the club probably.
150 ball speed, 34 backspin, and 250 carry.
So really not a huge discrepancy off the tee.
No.
Not really. Which is, I think that's, to be honest, to be expected. I would say a little bit of ball speed, guys, might be on offer, but off the tee, I wouldn't expect it to be that different. Maybe if you could put it in the hands of someone a little better than me off the tee. But yeah, I think that kind of range of launch and spin off the tee is to be expected. So I think what we're likely to see as the video goes on, obviously this has been relatively consistent. I think as we get more loft in our hands, the golf ball will start to reveal itself a little bit more I think the less loft you have, the more similar the characteristics are. I still think there's golf balls out there that'll be quicker than others, but I do think it will shrink in the differences when it comes to the lower lofted clubs. But let's find out. Okay, tough spot here. We'll put ourselves about 190 yards away. Wind is into, so whether we get the ball there or not, we're going to hit some flighted 5-irons. I really want to sort of see how the consistency of the launch and spin window is now. Today's a tough day, so deliveries will fluctuate, which will lead to ball, launch and spin characteristics fluctuating, but we will certainly do our best. Let's see what we got. A bit of a flighty 5. Random golf ball first up. What'd you get there, Case?
190 carry, 5162 backspin, 12.5 degree launch angle, and 128 ball speed.
It's not too bad. Fairly close to our 190-ish number we're talking about. Bit better.
197 carry.
Okay.
4450 backspin, 129 ball speed. 196.3 carry, 4640 backspin, 128.8 ball speed.
Okay, let me give you one more. So far, what stands out to be the biggest discrepancy between the three?
Your launch angle is like a 1 degree.
Not bad.
Backspin's 300. Peak height is 6 feet.
Okay, so pretty good.
Carries 3 yards.
Yeah. So I would honestly say when it comes to long irons, that might be where you start to see some of the closer numbers between golf balls and their sort of performance characteristics. It's interesting, some of the firmer golf balls, I find, for example, our range ball, the Tour Practice, here and at Brampton, spins more than a Pro V1 off a mid-iron. So sometimes you can get really different results than what you think, but that's the problem, you get different results from what you think. So let's hit one more with the randoms. Carry distance was pretty good. I mean, first one was what, 191, the next two were both 198. Is that right?
Yeah, 191, 198, 197.
That one felt like it spun to the...
57 backspin, 5700 backspin, 195 carry, 132 ball speed.
So that was quicker on ball speed.
Yep.
But spun like crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's a big jump. That's 600 more RPM than any of the other shots.
I felt like a quality strike, that one.
197.5 carry, 5200 backspin, 132 ball speed.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's a nice ball.
Bullet Case.
204 carry.
Yeah.
4650 backspin, 134 ball speed.
That one felt good.
It's 205.6 carry, 4300 backspin.
Spin seemed to me to be really good there and consistent.
Yeah, your spin differential is 357.
Okay.
You know what's really tight is the height. 2.5 feet between all 3 shots.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the average?
Average is 90.8.
Okay, good. Flighty 5, we said that,
Yeah.
right? We're not going for our peak of 105 feet, which back to the iron kind of video where I was going through my irons and why obviously I get such consistent windows with them. Definitely check that video out if you haven't. But yeah, that's one of the key sort of markers. Ball speed seemed to be higher, consistently higher.
Yep, yeah, on average it was 133.
And what was the average?
On the random it was 129.7, so 130.
A bit of speed. I mean, to be honest, they were stronger flights. So yeah, I think the difference there that we can't measure is the aerodynamics. GC Quad doesn't obviously take the whole ball flight into consideration. So one thing Titleist will pride themselves on is the aerodynamics of their golf ball. Not that these other companies won't, but there's just not the consistency of the dimple pattern to get the consistency of ball flight. So one thing looking at launch, spin and speed, the 3 factors that come into making up ball flight, but the big one is the aerodynamics of the golf ball for it to be consistent as well. So it's one thing to see it to be consistent on there, and it's another thing for it to perform consistent through different wind conditions, temperature conditions, etc., etc. But, you know, exceptional performance from obviously an unbelievable golf ball like the Pro V1. All right, guys, par 3, about 130 yards. It's playing into out the left. It's probably playing more like 150. It'll be interesting to see what the quad normalizes the carry at. Start with a random golf ball. Again, doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter the brand, the make, the model. We're just looking at the differences in ball performance, okay? So we'll start with random golf balls, then we'll go to the Pro V. Okay, tad long, which is fine. We're just going to keep the same club. It's not really about getting obviously to the target here. We're looking for the consistency on the numbers. Nice strike. There's the change in spin there, Case.
Yeah, 74.91 spin,
Yeah.
156 carry,
Okay.
112.5 ball speed.
Okay.
153.4 carry,
Yep.
7,000 backspin, 94.5 peak height.
Okay, feels quite similar to the first one, numbers wise.
Yeah, 156 carry, 7,300 backspin, 112 ball speed.
Okay, pretty similar. All right, let's clean up our mess. All right, little bit of a different scenario here. And this is probably leaning into more of the importance between the golf balls. In this environment where you've got a kind of very much a field shot, about 52 yards here, we've got probably have to fly at 46, 47, little release uphill. But how this launches, how it spins, how it reacts in the green is going to dictate the proximity. And obviously knowing what your golf ball does, not having that surprise factor is going to be huge. So again, we'll start with the random golf balls and then we'll see what we get with these, then flip over to the Pro V. Wow. 40 carry.
Yeah.
Look at the spin.
2,300.
2,300. And groove it brush on every single shot, guys. We're trying to keep those grooves pristine here. I couldn't have hit that any better. That's probably ended up pretty close, that one.
Yeah, it rolled out not too bad. 44 carry, 2,800 backspin.
Okay. Wild scenes. For me, just for context, for me in this shot, the spin rate I think should be about between maybe 65 and 7,500 on a shot like this. Here we're seeing spin rates under 3,000. Crazy. All right, switching into Pro V now. Hopefully get ourselves back into a more familiar territory when it comes to launch and spin. Nice. Clippy. Might have went a little past it.
Oh, it's in the hole.
No, I did not.
Yeah. It just rolled back in.
Did it really?
Yeah.
See, that's how you're meant to play it. Just like that. Wow. That's wild. But we called our number. We said between 65 and 7,500. That was, call it, what did you get?
That's 77.
77, right on it. Really, really nice. Spin rate, launch angle went from the 40s down into what, low 30s now?
32.3.
It's pretty cool. All right, let's try and kind of emulate something similar to that. I mean, that was nice. Just under 31 launch, just under 8,000 spin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's night and day. Guys, this is where the golf ball matters. Like, obviously, it's important off the tee and bits of ball speed that we can get. Those are compound gains. But it is when you get into this territory where the predictability of launch, spin, not so much speed, but launch and spin for that element of control is just going to be night and day different. I can't emphasize enough, if you're not using a golf ball that's going to give you those attributes, whether you can strike it good or not, it just shows you it's irrelevant. Because I did strike a couple of those quite well with the random golf balls. I lose all control. So at least give yourself the chance of hitting a good shot when you do make a good strike. That was eye-opening. All right, guys, last but not least, round the greens, where we're not really focused on, obviously, launch monitor numbers, but we're very much focused on the amount of control that we get as the ball rolls out. The predictability, does it land and release? Does it land and check, give you that bit of control? Is the launch high? Is the launch low? So that's more what we're looking for. And I think there's a feel component. I think every golfer would tell you that feel is important to them. Very few, I think, would tell you that they have no preference on feel. So few different golf balls in amongst our random pile, but obviously much more consistent when we play our own Pro V1. I think you're going to see that that's a probably perfect example of the challenge of not being able to get any bite on your wedge shot. Let's see if we can do a little bit better with that again. Look for that little bit of bite. Oh, wow. Sound of that one. So I was done okay, but it was not great. A little bit more bite on that one. Again, I won't tell you what golf ball it is, but I would kind of expect that to be the case. All right, so let's switch into the Pro V1s now. See if we can start to kind of a bit more predictable what it's going to do. Looking for that little bit of check, probably a bit more like that last one with the random golf balls. That one performed pretty nice. Certainly came out a lot lower. Yeah. Initially very, very different on that first little part of the launch. Launched a bit further. That little bit of bite, isn't it? Very different. Kind of released a little bit on that one, but there's just an amount of spin and launch. And, you know, again, every one of those obviously done the same thing, which just gives you as a player that much more confidence when you're playing the shot that you can really predict the outcome based on where to land it, how it's going to release. Is it going to release? Is it going to roll out? I don't think players who use a different golf ball every time have that luxury to understand exactly what the golf ball is going to do around the green. So we know the proximity differences when you get further from the hole. Outside of that 5-foot range, the drop off the cliff is pretty steep in terms of your make percentage. So that's why it's so important that we can get the predictability on our side. And I'm not saying you need a golf ball that spins a ton. I would favor that over a golf ball that was more of a hard cover that rolls out an awful lot. I just think that gives you less options. But you just need to know what it's going to do and be predictable. And for the 14 clubs or however many you use, you would always try to dial those in. Make sure you dial your golf ball in, guys, because it's the only, as I say, ever present the whole way through the game of golf. So hopefully you get a little chance to see why, to me, this is such an overlooked part of it. I don't love when people come in not having any consideration for the golf ball they use. So a little bit of information in there. The more loft you have, the more important it is to match the golf ball to those shots and that selection that you play, that variety of shots from the wedges to the short irons into the mid irons. And as I say, as it gets, you get a little bit less loft, it does diminish in certainly the differences in performance, but you still want to make sure you're maximizing every little piece of performance you can from your golf ball. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. Stay tuned for more. We'll see you again soon.